Big win for former U.S. President Donald Trump in the U.S. Supreme Court. As per the court's order, Trump will not be removed from the presidential ballot. Well, the Supreme Court has overturned a previous decision by a top court in Colorado, which had barred Trump from the state's Republican primary ballot. Well, this decision was based on a constitutional provision related to insurrection in connection with the January 6th Capitol attack. In a 9-0 decision, the Supreme Court unanimously reversed the 19th December ruling by Colorado's top court, which had disqualified Trump from holding public office again. In the first Section 3 of the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which was cited to disqualify a presidential hopeful. In its order, the U.S. Supreme Court writes, and I'm quoting here, "We conclude that states may disqualify people holding or attempting to hold state office, but states have no power under the Constitution to enforce Section 3 with respect to federal offices, especially the presidency." In addition to being excluded from Colorado's ballot, Trump had also been barred from the ballots in Maine and Illinois based on the same 14th Amendment. And reacting to the news, Trump called the ruling a big win for America. Notably, Trump had appointed 3 of the current Supreme Court judges.
Well, thank you very much. I want to start by thanking the Supreme Court for its unanimous decision today. It was a very important decision. We're very well crafted, and I think it will go a long way toward bringing our country together, which our country needs. And they worked long, they worked hard, and frankly, they worked very quickly on something that will be spoken about 100 years from now and 200 years from now.
Now, Trump is the front-runner for the Republican nomination. His only remaining rival for his party's nomination is former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley. The ruling comes a day before Super Tuesday, when most parties in the U.S. presidential primary cycle hold nominating contestants. And for more on this, we're now being joined by our correspondent, Susan Tehrani. She's joining us live from New York. Hi, Susan. I want to first start by asking you that what are the implications of the Supreme Court's decision to allow former U.S. President Donald Trump to remain on the ballot in Colorado and across the country? And how might this ruling impact the stability and fairness of the ongoing election season?
In a landmark decision, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that former President Donald Trump will remain on the ballot in Colorado and across the country. The ruling settles a contentious issue in the midst of a heated election season, emphasizing unity and stability in the electoral process. The court's message was clear. It's time to tone down the temperature and focus on common ground, ensuring a smooth and fair election for all Americans. With this decision, the U.S. Supreme Court reinforced the importance of upholding the Constitution and avoiding chaos in the electoral process, allowing voters to have their say in the next chapter of American history. Meanwhile, Colorado's Secretary of State said that she was disappointed and called on voters to, quote, save democracy by not voting for Donald Trump.
Right, Susan, but Donald Trump and the Supreme Court, they're not done with each other yet. Tell us about that.
Donald Trump is facing another case at the U.S. Supreme Court regarding his claim of immunity from criminal prosecution on charges of attempting to overturn the 2020 presidential election. Oral arguments are scheduled to start in the week of April 22nd, and a decision is expected by the end of June. This case could have implication for his 3 other pending criminal cases in Florida, Georgia, and New York.
Thank you, Susan, for joining us here on WION and sharing your insights with us on this decision by the U.S. Supreme Court.